Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Back in the year 2000, a football comedy hit theaters that looked like pure Hollywood fun, but the truth behind it's even much crazier. The Replacements tells the story of a team of overlooked players stepping in during a strike and fighting for one last chance to prove that they belong. But what most fans don't realize is how real things got behind the scenes. Keanu Reeves, who played Shane Falco, did not pretend to be a quarterback, but instead he actually trained like one. Real football players were cast in the film, intense hits happened on the field, and many of the scenes were shot inside of an actual NFL stadium. But that's only the beginning. From wild production stories to surprising casting decisions, this movie has some unbelievable secrets. So today, let's have a look at 15 crazy facts about The Replacements. Number 15. Keanu Reeves trained like a real quarterback. What you see on the screen in The Replacements may seem like typical movie magic, but behind Shane Falco's smooth quarterback moves is a story of dedication. To make the role as believable as possible, Keanu Reeves trained like he was stepping into the NFL for real. Before filming began, he went through insanely intense football training camp that mirrored what real pros experience.
DC right, switch, 25 blasting. What? That's to the left, right?
That's to the right.
It's to the left!
For 3 weeks, he worked with a former NFL quarterback and a college coach, and it wasn't just casual practice. He trained on every detail of being a quarterback. Imagine Keanu in a huddle, learning how to call plays like a seasoned pro. He even practiced taking snaps under center, mastered 3-step, 5-step, and 7-step dropbacks, and threw passes to specific routes. He even learned how to hold the ball perfectly for field goals and caught a crash course in the politics of a huddle, like how teammates may react when their quarterback misses a throw. It was so real that Reeves was practically living as Shane Falco before the cameras even started rolling. The training was physically tough. Reeves had taken hits during practice and even sustained a stinger injury, which was scary considering he had neck fusion surgery only years before. If you think that's impressive, he studied NFL legends like John Elway to perfect Falco's style. Reeves had modeled the confidence and throwing mechanics of an elite quarterback, trying to make every move feel as though it was the real deal. Number 14. The movie was loosely inspired by the 1987 NFL strike. Back in 1987, NFL players went on strike, where they walked off the field because they felt they weren't being paid enough and wanted better rules for free agency. With the players gone, the league was in big trouble, games were about to be canceled, huge TV deals were at risk, and fans didn't know if football was going to return. To save the games and avoid losing tons of money, team owners then hired replacement players. People who had never even been in the NFL suddenly got the chance to play in real games. For 3 weeks in October, these temporary teams were patched together using semi-pro players, retired athletes, and even guys who had been cut from rosters. And it worked. The Washington Redskins, one of the teams that was hit hardest by the strike, won every single one of their strike games without any of their main stars returning. That team ended up winning the whole championship that season, beating out the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. The movie was inspired by this wild story, telling the story of the fictional Washington Sentinels, a team in trouble during a players' strike, and like in real life, they brought in a bunch of overlooked and unlikely players to turn it all around. Some parts of the film are even based on what really happened. For example, the quarterback drama in the movie is similar to the real-life rivalry between Doug Williams and Jay Schroeder during that amazing season. Number 13. Gene Hackman nearly passed on the role. Initially, filmmakers had their sights set on Gene Hackman to play the wise and seasoned coach Jimmy McGinty, and at that time he was recognized as a legendary 2-time Academy Award winner. But Hackman didn't jump at the chance. At first, he actually turned it down because at that point in his career, he already made a name for himself by playing an iconic basketball coach in Hoosiers. He wasn't sure if he wanted to step into a role of another sports coach, especially since he was known for being very selective about his projects. The filmmakers persisted, convincing him by highlighting Coach McGinty's unique qualities. Unlike the typical loud and intense sports coach, McGinty was calm, reflective, and supportive, valuing second chances for underestimated players.
You're still young. If you do well, who knows what'll happen once the strike ends. I'm not gonna make any promises, Shane, but why don't you take a chance, huh?
This fresh perspective attracted Hackman, leading him to accept the role. Hackman's portrayal of the coach added depth and authenticity to the film, serving as its emotional core. His balanced performance had brought credibility to the story while maintaining the humor. Number 12. Real ex-players were cast as replacements. The filmmakers wanted the scenes to feel so real that they went the extra mile and brought in actual football players to join the cast. The goal was to make the action on the field believable, not only for the casual viewer, but for die-hard football fans. So, instead of relying only on actors or stunt doubles, they recruited athletes who knew how to run the plays, block, tackle, and move like professionals. This decision added an incredible level of realism. One of the key behind-the-scenes contributors was Jim McMahon, the famous quarterback who had led the Chicago Bears to victory in the Super Bowl. McMahon had worked as a football consultant in the film, teaching actors how real quarterbacks would be on the field. The filmmakers did not stop there, though. Many of the players filling out the Sentinels and opposing teams were real athletes with deep football experience. Thanks to their expertise, the director could film wider and longer shots instead of chopping up the scenes with quick cuts. It made the games look and feel real, as though you were watching an actual NFL broadcast.
Get to the playoffs.
Full speed tackles, intense blocking on the scrimmage line, and perfectly timed passing routes brought excitement to the screen like never before. Number 11. The game injuries look real because many of them were. As I just said, the production went for real athletes and skilled stunt pros with actual football experience, and these performers knew the sport inside and out. So when they hit the field, the plays would look real because they were practically executed. Every play was planned carefully to make sure that everybody stayed safe. Stunt coordinators worked with the director to design moves based on real football plays. They used hidden pads under uniforms and smart camera angles to make it look super intense without anyone getting seriously injured. But football is a rough sport, so there were still some small injuries. Bruises, sore muscles, and headaches happened often as the cast and stunt performers gave it their all during the action. Keanu Reeves had trained hard to prepare for his role as the quarterback. During practice, he even took a few real hits to make sure that he got everything just right. Number 10. The cheerleader bar scene was added during script rewrites. The funny bar scene with cheerleaders was not in the original script. It was added later and completely changed the feel of the movie. The replacement players, who were messy, wild, and rough, clashed with the cheerleaders in a crazy and hilarious way, but it also showed who the players really are. They were not the underdogs in the game. They're a mismatched group who's trying to fit into the fancy world of pro football. During development, writer Vince McEwen worked through multiple versions of the script, rewriting and introducing new character-driven scenes to show how the team bonded off the field to stand out in their gritty, rebellious way. The director leaned into these moments to balance the sports action with comedy and personality. The bar scene, alongside classics like the jail dance and the locker room shenanigans, gave the Misfits a spotlight, making them unforgettable. This unexpected mixture of chaos and camaraderie is what makes the movie so much more than just another sports flick. Number 9. Reeves wanted a more serious sports tone. The film is a hilarious sports comedy, but what you may not know is that Keanu Reeves took a completely different approach with the role. While others appreciated the funny chaos that surrounded the team, Reeves had decided to play Shane Falco with a serious and emotional depth you wouldn't normally expect in a lighthearted film. To prepare, Reeves trained hard with real football coaches and former players, wanting to understand what it meant to think, act, and feel like an actual quarterback and not just someone who was there for laughs. He saw Shane Falco's story as more than just a joke. Falco had fallen from grace after failing in a key game and faced public scrutiny and deep pain. But his story was also about trying to make a comeback. Reeves had focused on the emotions that Falco would feel, like hurt, loss, and hope, and played the character with honesty and heart, which made Falco the emotional center of the film.
It's okay. It's better for the team, right? Me, Martell. He is the best. Guy's got it all.
The choice added balance to the movie, and the team's wild antics brought lots of laughs, but Reeves made Falco feel real. The director said that Reeves had helped to keep the story emotional. Without him, the movie may have just been silly, but because of Keanu Reeves playing it seriously, the jokes worked even more. Number 8. Gene Hackman played it dead serious. Gene Hackman brought an entirely different level of seriousness that you wouldn't have expected, playing the veteran coach Jimmy McGinty as though he were in a dramatic film and not a laugh-out-loud sports comedy. Hackman had portrayed the coach like a real professional NFL coach, someone who was disciplined, focused, and committed to the team. This wasn't a mistake or just his acting style. He did it on purpose because he believed the movie would hit harder if at least one character stayed grounded in reality. This choice gave emotional weight to the story, and suddenly the chaos of the misfit players around him became meaningful and not funny. You could sense that McGinty truly cared about giving second chances to athletes who had been overlooked or who had been given up on. Hackman's approach influenced the entire set. He acted like he was a real coach, expecting the same level of seriousness and effort from the cast. That created a fantastic contrast. Hackman's calm and serious attitude stood out against the wild personalities of the players, and it made the comedy even more funny. It was like watching a strict teacher try to control the craziest class, and all you could do was laugh because he took it so seriously.
What the hell was that? Hey, I'm talking to you.
I call the plays out on the field, not you.
That's not the way I coach.
Number 7. Football sequences shot in real stadium. To make the football action look as real as possible, they filmed many of the game scenes at M&T Bank Stadium, the actual home of the Baltimore Ravens. Real locker rooms, authentic sidelines, towering grandstands, and professional lighting, along with an actual scoreboard. The details had brought the world of pro football to life in a way that no soundstage could have ever done. They wanted every pass, tackle, and touchdown to feel like something straight out of a televised NFL game, and to make that happen, the crew used huge wide shots of the stadium, dramatic aerial angles, and cameras positioned as you would see during a real NFL broadcast. Even the actors felt the excitement on set. Keanu Reeves said that stepping into the professional field with the bright stadium lights and loud cheering from extras and the entire atmosphere had made him feel as though he were leading a real team. That energy and excitement made the scenes feel even bigger and more thrilling.
Except let Morris by. Nobody touch
What?
him.
What? It's 16-0
I
already.
said let him through. On two. Ready?
Number 6. The play-calling jargon was researched with coaches. As if filming in a real stadium wasn't enough, they brought in actual experts to guide the cast and crew. One of those was Jim Hackman, the former NFL quarterback who worked with the team to teach them real quarterbacks and how they communicate. These consultants explained how pros would use complicated codes to signal their plays. For example, quarterbacks shout a mixture of numbers, colors, and words in order to tell teammates what to do while keeping the defense guessing. Keanu Reeves learned how to call plays naturally, as though he was really leading a team. The preparation made this performance feel genuine, adding an extra layer of realism to the movie. The director insisted on this attention to detail because the story was inspired by a real NFL replacement team from 1987, and that's why they used accurate terminology and consulted real professionals. Number 5. The football games were edited like action sequences. If you watch closely, you'll notice the rapid pace of the football scenes creates an intensity you wouldn't expect from a comedy. The games are cut like action-packed battle scenes, designed to keep your heart racing, and the editor used quick edits, switching between multiple angles in order to maximize the chaos and energy on the field. One moment, the players are colliding at the line of scrimmage, and the next, you see helmets and shoulder pads crashing in a close-up. Tight shots of players fighting through tackles are mixed in with sudden shifts to wide stadium views before zooming back in on raw emotion. They made sure that the football moments felt serious, and because many of the plays were performed by real athletes and stunt performers, the level of realism was unmatched. You pair that with editing magic, and you've got a movie that sets the bar high for any future football film. Number 4. Test audiences wanted more romance. After test screenings, some viewers thought that the romance in the film needed more attention, saying that the connection felt far too subtle. The original version of the film focused a lot on the action and the funny team dynamics, but the romantic storyline seemed almost like an afterthought. Audiences wanted more because they desired a deeper emotional moment and a stronger bond between the two leads. The feedback caught filmmakers' attention. They didn't want to turn the movie into a full-blown romance, but they did make some changes. The final edit added small and emotional details like meaningful glances and quiet moments that made the relationship feel more real.
If you need some transportation from a world of tribulation, tell me your destination. I'll be.
Even without grand romantic gestures, the changes made a big impact. They balanced the tweaks with the underdog football story, keeping the movie a fun sports comedy with just the right touch of heart. Number 3. Keanu Reeves took a pay cut so Gene Hackman could be cast. Sometimes behind-the-scenes decisions are much more dramatic than what we know. During the making of The Replacements, the studio wanted Gene Hackman to play the coach, but the film already had a tight budget for a mid-level sports comedy, and adding in Hackman seemed nearly impossible. But that's when Keanu Reeves made the unbelievable sacrifice. He reportedly offered to cut a large chunk of his own salary just so the production could hire Gene Hackman. Reports even claim that Reeves had given up as much as 90% of his salary, though the exact number's never been confirmed. Reeves did this because he was a huge admirer of Hackman. He believed that casting the two-time Oscar winner would take the movie to the next level. And he was right. Hackman's incredible performance as the tough but inspiring coach became one of the film's strongest points. What makes it even more crazy, it's not the first time that Reeves had done something like this. He had taken a pay cut on The Devil's Advocate in order to afford Al Pacino. It's rare in Hollywood for an actor to prioritize the quality of a film over their own paycheck, but Reeves has proven willing to do just that. Number 2. The stadium crowds were mostly real fans. Instead of relying on computer-generated crowds, the filmmakers went all out to create a real football stadium atmosphere. Believe it or not, many of the game sequences were filmed with real fans in the stands. The production team shot these scenes at M&T Bank Stadium, the home of the Baltimore Ravens, which had opened only 2 years earlier in 1998. They brought in thousands of local fans and paid the extras to fill out the stands and react to the action, just like they would for a real NFL game. To make the crowd look even bigger, the filmmakers pulled off clever tricks. Fans were seated in specific visible sections of the stadium, and then the same crowd groups were moved around to different areas between takes. On top of that, the editors reused shots from several angles during post-production to give the illusion of a completely full stadium. These techniques worked so well that the scenes felt as though they were pulled straight out of an NFL highlight film. The director insisted on using real crowd reaction because it gave the scenes a natural energy that was impossible to fake. Even the extras got carried away, cheering, booing, and celebrating touchdowns like it was a genuine event. At that time, CGI wasn't that advanced or affordable to create massive, believable crowds, so using live spectators made the film completely immersive. Imagine being an actor surrounded by thousands of fans. It's no wonder the movie's game scenes felt so alive on the screen. Number 1. The NFL refused to officially support the movie. Despite being a movie about professional football, The Replacements did not get support from the NFL. The league had refused to back it because the storyline hit too close to home. It was based on replacement players that stepped in during a fictional football strike, which mirrored the highly controversial 1987 NFL strike. Back then, team owners brought in replacement players when regular pros had refused to play due to a labor dispute. It was a touchy subject that the NFL clearly did not want to relive, and so they declined to license their teams, logos, and even their name for the movie. Filmmakers didn't give up, though. Instead of being limited by their refusal, they created an entirely fake football world. The main team in the movie, the Washington Sentinels, doesn't even exist in real life, and every uniform, logo, and team name you see was designed from scratch to avoid any legal issue. The league isn't even called the NFL in the story, and it's incredible how they managed to pull it all off and make the movie look so much like a real professional production. Now be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you know when we upload another video like this. Got any recommendations? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.